Hello guys and welcome back to another class of our course about the complete introduction to data science with Python. So in today's class we are going to talk about some really basic SciPy functions that can be used inside of Python. So as always, the first thing that you guys need to do is import SciPy inside of your Python. So basically it's pretty simple how it's gonna work. It's like with any other things that we did. So basically you just go inside of your settings and then you go inside of your Python interpreter right here. Then you click on the little plus right there. You look for SciPy and you simply click on import. So basically it works pretty much the same way as for any other thing that we imported. So it's pretty simple, just click on install package. So when you will install your package, it should be somewhere right here. So it will be right there. All right, so when you guys are all ready, the next thing that we will do right now is write our first basic functions with SciPy. So as always, the first thing that we need to do, we need to import SciPy inside of our Python, the text editor. So pretty simple. What we'll do, we'll simply write down import. Here we go. So we will import SciPy as SP. Now the next thing that you guys need to understand is that all the sub packages that will be used in SciPy has to be imported before being used. If you guys don't import the sub packages that you will want to use, you will not be able to use them and you will receive an error message. So it's really important to import each sub package. When I'm talking about sub packages, I can talk about, for example, interpolation. This could be one of the sub packages. Integrate would be another sub packages. Cluster, which is a really interesting sub package, is another sub package. Constant is also another sub package. So there is plenty of sub packages. For the purpose of this course, we will import a few of them. So just this way, you guys will see what it looks like to import sub packages. So pretty simple. How do we import a sub package? We simply write down from. So from where we want to import our sub package. We want to import our sub package from SciPy. So really important to write down from SciPy. So we import our sub package from SciPy. And what sub package you want to import? So we want to import, in this case, integrate. So integrate. So here we go, we have a sub package from SciPy that we just imported. So we have imported integrate. Let's say we want to import, cluster, for example. So it's gonna work the same way. So let's say we'll write down from SciPy, import cluster. So right now we have imported integrate and cluster. We can import another sub package which would be fftpack. So this is used for Fourier transforms. We can import it. So let's import it as well. So from, in this case, SciPy, import fftpack. As you can see here, we have imported 3 sub packages. So basically this will allow us to use all the functions that are with those sub packages. All right. The next few functions that we are going to talk about will not necessarily make any operation. It's just some operations that will give you information or simply help about the sub packages. So the first function that we are going to talk about would be the help function. So basically what it does, it will simply return you informations about keywords, functions, or classes that you guys would work with. So it's pretty simple. It's gonna, once again, it's really important to import the sub package that you want to receive help about, because if you don't import the sub package, you'll simply receive an error message. So in this case, we have imported three sub packages. So what we'll do, we will seek help for one of those sub packages. So let's say we want to have help for our integrate sub package. So we'll write down help and then integrate. So we want to receive help about this sub package. So pretty simple. Simply you write down help, open up your parentheses and write down integrate. And when you run the app, you receive all the help about the integrate sub package. So basically you will receive all the information about this sub package and different formulas that you guys can use about it. If you just want to write down help, so in this case, let's say we write down help, what's going to happen? You'll receive help, and then you will need to write down the sub package about which you want to receive help. So in this case, we want to receive help about SciPy dot integrate, so about this package right here, and we just run the app, and as you can see, it's going to do pretty much the same thing. But if we don't import the sub package, you'll receive an error message. So in this case, we have those 3 sub packages. Let's say I want to work with nd image sub package. So in this case, I'm gonna write down nd image, and if I decide to run this, I'll stop this app right here, and I decide to run this app, I'll receive an error message because I didn't import this sub package of SciPy. So basically, it's not gonna work. All right, the next function that we are going to talk about will be the info function, and it works pretty much the same way as the help function. So it will return as well information about the keywords, classes, and functions. And once again, it will return some other type of information. So what we'll do, it works pretty much the same way. So in this case, we'll write down SP. So because we imported SciPy as SP, so we want to make a reference to our SciPy, so we use SP. Dot, in this case, we want information, so dot info, and we want information about our list, let's say FFT pack, so FFT pack. So we want information about this sub package right here, and what we'll do right now, we'll simply run our function. So as you can see, you will receive all the information about this sub package. So it's pretty interesting. So it's not the same thing as the help function, but it gives us a lot of information as well. So this is how you guys, if you need info about a certain sub package, this is the way that you can use to be able to get this information. And finally, the last thing that we are going to talk about, or the last function that we are going to talk about, would be the source function. In this case, this function will simply return the source code of objects that are written in Python. So it works the same way. We are looking for the source of a certain sub package. And it works pretty much the same way, so it's the same function. So we are making a reference to our SP, to SciPy. So we want, in this case, the source. So we are making reference to SciPy, and we want the source of, let's say, the cluster pack. This is the one that we didn't use, so cluster sub package. And we run our function right now. So what we'll receive all the source code of all this. So all the source code of this sub package. So once again, as I said, those 3 functions are pretty simple, and they give you more hints and help about different sub packages. It's not; those are not functions that will give you abilities to make some operations or some other things. Once again, those are pretty simple operations that you guys can use just to get a really small and basic introduction to SciPy. So I hope you guys right now have a basic understanding of SciPy and how to use those really basic functions. So that's it for this class, guys, and see you all in our next class when we'll do a bit more interesting functions.